else is playing a sort of psychology and propaganda game, and they're not valid representative of God as a result. I didn't have to make these videos in my parents' house because they didn't even raise daughters that were reasonable. So these are the questions I must consider when I consider that they should all be sealed in hell after I die. Number one, did your forefathers betray the top martial artist Alpha Lion by rebelling, either by being far away because, like you, they are not the types to naturally obey and naturally be receptive to righteousness, or by betraying them, me, directly? Again, did your forefathers betray the top martial artist Alpha Lion by rebelling, either by being far away because, like you, they are not the types to naturally obey, or by betraying them directly? This one's a little bit confusing because you got to think long term. Why aren't these people finding their way back? It's one thing to leave Africa. Why didn't they find their way back at some point? Because they're not naturally inclined to. Think about it over a long period of time and think about history. Number two, should the offspring of those who screamed out the Alpha of all of mankind around 2020 be allowed into heaven when they denied the Alpha a valid heir? They kept him from having a son. He raised himself in large groups with representatives from every culture that exists in a calculated manner, so that their kids and or groups would steal the earth too. That's why it's called a planet. The planet. To planet. Again, should the offspring of those should the offspring of those cowards who did nothing while being fumed, mind you, should the offspring of those who screamed out the Alpha of all mankind around 2020 be allowed into heaven when they denied the Alpha a valid heir? They kept him from having a son. He raised himself in large groups with representatives from every culture that exists in a calculated manner, so that their kids and or groups would steal the planet too, like their bitch asses, their joker asses did. The planet, to planet. 3, should a book that nobody knows who wrote and the feelings of immoral conformists and assorted insensitive selfish cowards overrule obvious and sacred justice? No. Point 4, even if the Bible is true, an interpretation that presents a counter-argument cannot possibly be valid. In Psalm 56, it says God is a God of justice. Proverbs 16:10 through 12, it says the throne is established through righteousness, and on the king's lips is a divine verdict, and these are the things the valid king has to consider. So even if you're a dumbass and you don't know that it's me, you still know that my logic is sound. They have no excuse, and it couldn't be anywhere else because no one else is a valid person. So either it's me or they're gone already. These questions still apply. They're sealed in hell after I die.